Yes, my people, what's going on? Welcome back to the Graft Kings podcast. You know where we are. We're in Kent's hottest nightclub, Moo Moo's. And tonight, guys, we want to talk about a subject that we've not covered before. We want to talk about, is your family holding you back? And we've got a lot to say on this one. I definitely do. But before that, as you guys know and you've seen from previously, we have actually got our hairs done, and it is 2 weeks post the transplant.
We're allowed to officially wear hats today, aren't we?
How are you not feeling?
Well, that's why we're all hatted up to the eyeballs, because we can actually cover our dead hairlines for the moment. But I'm feeling good. I feel normal again now.
Yeah, it feels good now.
I feel completely normal.
I mean, it's going to start to go into the shedding phase now. It started.
Mine hasn't started.
Mine's still coming out, bruv. Look.
Yeah, no, I think it's all going to start going, whoop, dropping out. Yeah.
The pain's gone though.
Yeah.
Which I'm really pleased. There's a little bit of ache still at the back of the head.
The back's
a little bit.
tender, innit?
Yeah, a little bit.
You all got everyone's got full hair now, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's going to come into the humbling stage properly, boys, trust.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking as to what's going to happen. Like, I'm probably going to have to shave my head again, aren't I?
You don't have to. I would just leave it.
You don't have to, yeah.
No, I wouldn't shave it. You don't have to shave because you want the ones that are coming, the new grafts, to just grow.
Yeah.
So you don't want to like mess about with those. You want to leave those to get thicker and thicker, and you want that to kind of gradually mix with your current hair. So what you can do is after a little certain while is get them all one level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah, so I would just leave it. I wouldn't touch it, and it's good for your head to recover anyway.
Fair play to you.
Because we've not been allowed to get haircuts for 4 weeks?
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Sorry.
But you can't. It's 4 weeks on the actual transplant.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's correct. 4 weeks.
You can get like a shape up on your back and sides and stuff, but you can't obviously touch the actual area itself where you got the implants in. But
I mean, I know it's not grown yet, but obviously there's no regrets from our end. I can speak for all of us because we talk on a daily. We've spoke about it on the previous pod before as well. Anyone who's sitting on the fence about it, you've got nothing to lose, man. You've got to talk to these guys. Like we've explained from A to Z, like how they've actually taken care of us. And there's miles of difference compared to that to how it is within certain other places you can go to. So you can't put you can't put a price on health, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
For real, yeah.
they're spot on.
Like certain places might offer a hell lot cheaper, of course, but then at the same time, are you being looked after? Do they care about you? Do they have your best at interest, best heart interest?
It's probably got to be the most enjoyable procedure you could probably go through in terms of like comfortability for like how you're treated on the day.
Yeah, and aftercare.
Yeah, and aftercare. Like on the day, guys, like that you're well looked after, you're fed, watered, you're made to feel very calm, very relaxed, very welcoming. Like you put the music on of your choice when you're laying flat. They tell you to go to sleep when you're laying there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the music. Yeah,
yeah, like the second or the 2/3 of the day afterwards, you're laying on your back and obviously they provide lunch for you and stuff, and they'll tell you to put any movie on Netflix or Amazon Prime that you want to watch. Like they'll actively tell you to just drift to sleep. Like they're like, look, we've got you, just stay calm, stay cool, go sleep, you know, you're in safe hands. Like you just feel completely at ease. So, you know, the only downfall about it is a bit of pain. Yeah. And but let's not bullshit, for about a week afterwards,
I went into pain for a week.
It's just a bit uncomfortable.
I was in pain for about 4 days.
I think that's the key
Uncomfortable.
word. It's a bit
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
That first 4 days of sleep, bro.
The sleep
Yeah, it's
is a
awful,
little
yeah.
edge, yeah.
So apart from that, well worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
I slept alright.
And trust, in about 5 months you'll be going, this is worth it. Then your hair just gets thicker, bro. Trust me. Like,
Yeah, so,
Well, like you said yesterday, you said to me yesterday, you can actually see your hairline now. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I've not seen that in a long time. It's true though, I haven't.
I've not seen it a long time.
I haven't seen that hairline like that in a very long time.
Imagine all of this thicker, and then obviously you get your cheeky blend. It's gonna look bang.
You're going to go long again, slick it back?
No, I don't think so. I think I'll still keep
I
it.
reckon he will.
I don't
think
think he
will.
everyone when they first get it, they go short, and then
Yeah, because
they
obviously it
gradually
takes
get
time to
longer.
grow.
I don't know. I don't think I will, bro.
I don't
now.
think you should.
I don't think so.
You'll go, bro. You'll want to trust. I did the same. I kept it on a little buzz when I first got it. Then I was like, I want to grow it now. Bang.
You'll grow it, but I don't know how long
Got the
you grow it.
option.
Yeah, I got the
Do what you
choice.
want.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'm enjoying having a buzz cut. I can't lie. I won't keep it obviously this short. This is a bit too
yeah,
short.
you look like Megamind at the moment.
Thanks, babe.
Again, if people saw us post,
Oh my
transplant,
God.
oh my goodness,
I looked very
man.
simple, didn't I?
Simple. You look like something out the wrong turn.
No, mate. I'll tell you what. Look, that monster at the Goonies.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
I looked. I will release a photo one day.
He says, "Can I come live with you?" Or like, is someone
He goes, it's okay. Oh, you come and stay with me now. I'm going to take care of you.
So what's funny? Do you know why I'm laughing?
Someone used that as a meme, innit?
Yeah.
It's because people who are on Spotify won't see the visuals of this. They'll be in their car just listening to it, going, "What the f*** is going
Just,
on?"
if you are listening to this on Spotify right now, hey, you guys.
For those who don't know, it was at KSL in Maidstone. If you quote Graft Kings, you get free PRP treatment. I think you get one free PRP treatment after the surgery. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
yeah,
is worth about that in itself is about £200-300, guys.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, boys, it's well worth it. Go for it. But
Are we getting a link in there or anything?
yeah, go on, Ash. Slap up a link.
Go on, Ash.
Yeah, go on, Ash.
Left, right, here, wherever you want.
Put it all on the screen right now.
Yeah, but listen, guys, you ain't got to tell anyone about it. It's completely anonymous. So if you are feeling a certain type of way about your barnet, the consultation with KSL is completely anonymous and it's free. So, and they will tell you whether you need it or not. If you don't need it, they'll say, look, mate, give it a few years and come back. Or if you do need it, they'll tell you. So if you're worried, make an inquiry, have a chat and go from there.
And you're welcome to reach out to us as well.
Correct.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
Yes, boys, the community is now live. JoinTheRightSide.com. It's one of the best growing communities on the internet right now, boys. We've got some amazing people in there. We've got people from Malta, Australia, Germany, and of course the UK. Honestly, boys, it's not one to miss out on. We've already done our first meetup, which was sick. We've got another 2 before the end of the year. If you haven't already, JoinTheRightSide.com.
Is your parents holding you back?
Mine personally, should we do personals first?
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the negatives and the pros of... Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go start from you, Merk.
I wouldn't say my parents ever held me back. I feel like they advised me in a direction which they would have preferred me to probably go down.
Yeah.
But I don't think I played football throughout like my whole childhood, and my mum would like literally drive me up and down to Crystal Palace like 3 times a week. So they obviously supported me in doing that, and then I didn't really know what to do, and then they suggested going to like uni or anything like that. But they never were like, you have to go or you have to do this. They were like, if you want to go, we'll support you doing it. And it was the same when we sold the family business. They were like, you don't have to keep it, you don't have to sell it. Like if you want to keep it, you can. If you don't, we don't, which we didn't. So they were never like, they'd advise me, but they'd never kind of hold me back. They'd just say, this might not be a good idea. But my dad would always say, he was like, realistically, if you want to do something, you're going to do it and you're going to have to learn yourself, because that's how he learned. So that was like his ethos with me. He was like, I can advise you not to do something, but if you want to do it, you just got to do it and learn yourself, even if you fuck it all up.
I think
Fair enough, yeah.
I personally think that's the best way to be a parent.
Yeah.
I know that certain cultures are very, very strict on what they, especially the Asian communities.
Doctors, lawyers.
They're very, very strict on how much they push their kids into further education and all that kind of stuff. And they're so strict on university and college degrees and whatever. But I think there's 2 sides of the coin. I think that can be very, very beneficial. Very, very beneficial. Especially probably go back 20, 30 years where that meant everything. There was no online presence. Like you had to get a job. Like, now with the world,
A degree was everything.
yeah, a degree was everything.
Yeah.
In this day and age, I don't really think it's a necessity. I still think that certain parts of the world are still very heavy reliant on it, especially America. America, you can't, like over here, you can probably win a good paid job in London. You can
Yeah,
win,
definitely.
based on experience.
Done it.
Yeah, based on experience, you could do it. In America, you can't do that.
Yeah.
America, you have to have a college degree. America,
It's almost like they look down on you.
yeah, you do. They call you a college dropout. Like if you're a college dropout. Like it's looked down upon. American culture is completely different to the UK. Like you can't just walk into a high paid job unless you even know someone or you've got the college degree. And then they'll pressure on that college degree as well. Even if you're going for like simple jobs, not even like high end jobs. Like, oh, so what did you study at college? Over here, no, I've never been asked for my GCSEs once.
No, never.
Someone put in the comments ages ago, not a GCSE between them, like about ours on TikTok. And I'm like, bro, I've never even been asked my GCSEs, ever.
And you never would either.
And I never would. I think you need GCSEs to obviously get into university,
That's right, yeah.
of course. But for jobs, I've never even been asked it ever in my whole entire life, ever. And I've had good jobs, good paid jobs.
I don't even think they'd ask you for your degree for a lot of jobs either.
Yeah, I know.
They just see it on there and they go, oh, how was uni at Thingy? And you could just go, yeah, it was good.
And the degrees you get never normally have a correlation to the job you go
hardly
for.
ever.
But they want
Hardly
to know
ever.
that you've got the commitment of turning up
bullshit,
every day.
yeah,
It's
such a load of
if
bullshit.
they want to know you're a good worker. They want to know that you can abide by rules and you can hit tasks,
Deadlines and
stuff like
that's
that.
it.
That's what it is. Because
Opinion,
go on.
controversial opinion maybe. Do you reckon in the US that's become such a massive arse because they still just want to be able to push like young adults into an industry where they're making, like the system's making loads of money off it?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, mate, there's loads of ways you look at it. People probably call you a conspiracy theorist for saying something like that. I
can,
agree with you, but I'm
I
just
think
saying
that's what it is.
of course, like if you don't have workers, you don't have an economy. Like
Exactly.
you need people to work.
And their university is far superior to ours in terms of what it costs.
Yeah, and mate, they've got college football leagues that are bigger than Wembley.
Yeah, it's bigger, yeah.
They're
College football is bigger than their
NFL.
national, yeah.
Yeah, bigger than NFL.
That's crazy.
But they've got college stadiums. Man,
Hold over 80,000 people.
one's 100,000 in Texas. That's bigger than Wembley
College.
for college.
That's
Imagine going to
crazy.
school, bruv, and
It must be sick.
it must be so cool.
It must be so
You'd
cool.
want to go. Like,
Oh
you'd
yeah,
wanna
of
go.
course,
Yeah,
And they got
100%.
they got
I want to
frat
go and watch. I
houses.
want to go and watch
Yeah.
like a proper American football game.
But you know what they did before the game? They go into the parking lot and they call it something. Oh, someone commented.
Groundhog, but no.
No, it's called something where they all set up and they were barbecues in the car park
Does it
beforehand.
entail something?
Tail. Yeah, you're right.
They
It's,
do it in Waterboy, innit?
yeah, it's called tailgating. No, it's tailgating.
Tailgating?
That's a car, right?
Oh, bro. What was it
Anyway.
called?
Anyway, the point is, before the big college games, they all meet in the car park and they have barbecues and
Sick.
food and drinks, set up the little marquees, and then they all go in together. It's a big, like, we don't have that in the UK, like,
No,
any
they're
shit
very
like that.
culture driven when it comes to
And they're
stuff
very
like that.
community stuff.
And they're
isn't it?
very patriotic.
And
Yeah.
a lot of like people in the US haven't even left the US.
70% of
Crazy,
Americans
isn't
don't
it?
have
Not
passports.
left. So they
That's
only
nuts.
know their own bubble. So it's crazy.
But do you know why that is? They've got. Well, I'm not advocating it, but they've got a good reason not to. Because if they want to go skiing, they can go to Colorado. If they want to go to the beaches, they go to Miami or Los Angeles. If they want to go to the countryside, they go to the middle of America. Do you know what I'm saying?
New England.
They've got absolutely every climate that you could ever want and every
Yeah, I
kind of.
suppose that's one way to look at it.
So they don't really. But when you even see them going to their games, bruv, it doesn't matter what game it is, whether it's a club game or a country league game. The crowd's always USA. They're so patriotic.
Yeah,
and
for real,
yeah.
Like I respect it. I do. I love the culture. Anyway, we sidetracked.
So back to what
Sorry.
you're saying.
What was I saying?
You're saying two sides to the coin.
Two sides to the coin. So my parents, coming from a personal one, because Merc done his, have never ever pressured me into doing absolutely anything ever. They've literally let me do whatever I want. Now there is pros and cons to that, because the pros I could have probably been pushed to do better. I don't know, go to university. I don't know, wherever it could have been. But do you know what? I'm so happy. Like they've never done that. Like I'm very happy how my life turned out so far. 29 years of age, and I'm very happy where my life is. Really, really happy. And you've got to understand, how are you measuring your success, or how are you measuring how well you've done so far in your life? Because if you compare it to what society tells you, maybe I haven't done so well. Like society will say, well, you haven't got college, or you haven't got a fucking degree in university, or you haven't got a corporate job that's a 9 to 5 in London. So that's how people measure how well you are. People ask, "Oh, what do you do for work?" First thing they ask you, because they want to judge you. They want to know, "Oh, what's he do?" If I say McDonald's, they're going to judge me automatically. Do you know what I'm saying? So, as a societal kind of outlook, I probably haven't done well, but from another stance, I probably have done well. Do you know what I'm saying? It all depends on your perspective and what you're measuring it against. And I don't think I'd be as happy as I am if my parents pushed me to go into university and pushed me into a corporate job and stuff like that.
Real.
And I know I've got a couple of friends that have done that, and then they are miserable. They are miserable. They've been pushed into what society tells them is classed as successful on paper. They've got the degree, they've got the job, they've got the family now, and they've got their. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing against that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But I know these people on a personal level, and I know they're not as happy as I am, or they're doing. And they're like, "Oh, you're really doing well at the moment. You're flying about the place." But I'm just doing what I want to do. Do you know what I'm saying? You're confined by what society told you should be doing. And I reckon if my parents didn't give me so much leeway on basically do whatever the you want, which they have done my whole life, I don't think I'd be where I am now. So I think it all depends on where you, I think, brought up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that has a massive key factor. We're very privileged to live in the UK, where, like I said, we're not even asked our degrees to get jobs and shit. Every job I've got walked into based on my interview.
What about you, mate?
Similar story, to be honest with you, mate. My parents just guided me, gave me advice, same as my grandparents. My grandparents had a heavily influence on my life as well, especially my grandmother. I don't come from like degree background family and stuff like that. My dad was a wheeler dealer growing up, and he's got his own businesses and stuff like that. But I was never pressured into doing anything. They would give advices to say like, this is what that route will give you. This is what that route will give you. But they always come down to the point of saying, you need to do what you enjoy. Like if like whatever it is that you enjoy doing, pursue it and go for it. And like the money and stuff will come. Do you know what I mean? But because of that growing up, because my dad was a bit of a wheeler dealer, for me, success looked like going into the corporate world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it was like for us when I was younger, don't it?
Yeah,
that's what success was.
Because I didn't want that stress and pressure of like worrying about where the next buck's coming from like what he's got to go and do to make a big deal to go and, you know, one day he'd walk in the door with 10 grand cash in his hand, and the next month he's saying like do you know what I mean? But he never let me know that. Like, we went on holiday every single year. We had PlayStations. I had all the fucking. I had a car at 17. I had any clothes I wanted. Like, so God knows what he must have done to make that happen. But therefore, growing up, and that was kind of a little bit not pushed on me, but kind of said, like, don't do what I've done, sort of thing. Learn from my mistakes, kid. Like, go and get a well-paid job. Go and get a good job. Work you out the ladder, and you'll be well looked after. And it does come with that, yeah. Working a 9 to 5, working the corporate life does come with really nice benefits, and it's very easy to stay in that trap. You are highly paid if you do really well. You get bonuses, you get holiday pay, you get sick pay, you get laptops, you get phones, you get taken out, you get taken on holidays. Like, it was a cushy life.
Very enticing, isn't it?
Very enticing. Like, I learned a lot of my London gaffs and like where I go out because of working up in the city. My directors used to take us out 2-3 nights a week. Like, so I know a lot of these places because of that life. So it is very comfortable. Like, I did it for 10 years, so it's very comfortable to get enticed in that. But I was probably subliminally pushed into that life because I didn't want to end up kind of like that sort of thing. But again, I was never pressured, never pushed, never told you had to go to uni. It was like, do what you want to enjoy and we'll support you no matter what.
It's crazy when you look back. What you said hit home for me a minute ago is when you say God knows what they did to make sure you had what you had. Because my mum never worked since my brother was born. So my dad's always been the breadwinner. And I just look back and I know how many times he was out of work growing up. And I'm thinking, they
out of work.
Yeah, my dad was always in and out of work. He never had a solid job for like a lot. Maybe his longest stint, because my dad was a chef, so he was, I don't know, 6 months here, 6 months somewhere else, and then there'd be like a month break where he wouldn't have work, whatever the case may be. I always thought my dad was never in one job too long, so I was thinking he must have busted his balls to make sure we had food on the table. And you don't realise when you're a kid, but when you grow up, you're like, oh shit.
Yes, boys, quick break to remind you about our recent partnership with Muoti. Boys, do not forget, Muoti are a brand new online fashion retailer for all of your club art, just like these tees. Head over to muoti.com, type in Graft Kings in the promo code to get 20% off every order. Let's get back to the pod.
Do you know what it is? I feel like parents that kind of had nothing or kind of grew up with the biggest struggles, they try to do the complete opposite for their kids. They try to show them the complete opposite because they don't want them to go through what they did. 100%. But I think to some sort of respect, that's not a good thing. Like, you need to find the balance of that. I had nothing, so I'm going to give you everything. I feel like that's the worst thing you could do to a child.
Yeah, of course.
Because your child grows up feeling entitled. If your child grows up entitled, they're not motivated and they're unhappy because they don't have a purpose. Where, like, if you look at some of the most successful people in the world, it is people that have come from nothing. It's because they didn't have another choice. They didn't have a choice, like another plan B. They were like, I either make it or I'm going to starve. And that's why I know for a fact today why my dad's successful, even though he doesn't speak English properly. The geezer came to the UK as an immigrant and he built a multi-million business and done madnesses with it. Fair play to him, but that's what he knows. So he's like a very result-driven person. So to him, I think to not go through what he did, and I grew up a little bit like naughty, doing my thing, obviously, in school, as we probably all have done. But my dad, he never forced me to do anything, but at the same time, like, he made me feel like I had no other choice to do what he wants me to do. But like, for example,
so it almost made you feel bad for if you didn't do something.
Like, he would annihilate me.
Yeah.
Like, he's one person that is, I love my dad to bits, but he's criticised me to fucking bits since growing up. Like, for example, I went to university for 3 months and I just knew this wasn't for me because I'd never done well academically in school as well. Like, I always lied about my GCSEs. I was in bad grades and stuff. But I just remember saying, Dad, I want to leave university. And he was like, no, you're not. I was like, well, I am. He's like, you're not fucking leaving. He's like, you're staying. And I just remember I was in Bedford and all those places. So sorry for anyone who's from there. You probably know it yourself. I put everything into my car and I just drove over and he was like, you're back. You didn't talk to me for months. For months.
Parents get like that though, don't they?
It's like a cultural thing.
I was going to say, it's culture.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying to you earlier about the culture.
Do you know why it's hard, which a lot of people can understand and relate to why it is to go against that? It's because you know the intention behind what your parents is doing is out of love and it's because they're there to protect you, but they don't understand what they're doing is actually affecting you in a negative way. Because I'm the type of person now, I believe, like, I'd rather make a decision and make the wrong one, but know that I've made it rather than someone else force that upon me.
Yeah, facts.
And now I have to blame you for it. Like you need, that's called accountability. So when you make your own mistakes, who can you blame? No one but you. If I make a mistake that my dad or my mum or my auntie, whoever told me to do, then I'm like, it's because of you, my life turned
You
out
resent
like
them for it.
resentment. So you need to let people make their own decisions, even if it is the wrong one. Like it's never about forcing someone, like you said, advising is the right way to do it. These are your options. Personally, I think you should do this, but if you don't, then by all means, I feel like this could be the outcome. Then it's up to them to make it. My dad's always just been behind me to make the right decision, but he's always kind of based it upon himself. He's from a complete different era.
Oh yeah, very.
Do you know what I'm trying to
When
say?
he's
Like,
probably looking at you
generation.
thinking, I never had the opportunity to go to university.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
like going to university, most parents, like it was like a way to praise. Like,
Yeah, my kids
my
at uni.
son's at uni, yeah.
And that was the thing when I was like in the 90s.
Yeah, of
like,
course, yeah.
obviously I'm born in the 90s, sorry. And by the time I got to 18 to 20s, like that was the thing. Like my kid's gone to university, like even if it is business. And now everyone's so woke. It's like, what the f is actually teaching me?
Yeah, nothing.
And now my dad agrees though. Now he's like, I'm so glad you didn't go.
It's funny.
Now like we can understand each other.
Because you're an adult now.
Mine's
You're a man now.
Like,
Well, and I think he's probably recognised the shift in the society now.
Yeah, for sure.
Society's so changed so much in 20 years, it's unrecognisable.
Yeah, big
Like,
time.
no one would even look down on yourself and go, if you actually even had a conversation with someone from our area going, F uni, I ain't going there, they'd probably agree with you. Oh yeah, it's I couldn't even get a job when I left uni.
Yeah.
People are all aware of it now. They're aware.
And I said it to him as well. I just said to him, look, like what you wanted me to go study would have done absolutely to me for me. I worked in sales environments, and that's just talking basically. I was like, I was gonna go learn business from someone from who don't even have one. Like we spoke about it in previous pods. But if you go to university to study something very specific,
I think
like architect maybe, or like to be
not even that. It's doctor, lawyer, like
Something
solicitor, something like that. That's not because you have to study and learn.
Of course,
Like,
yeah.
that's the only. Like, other than that,
People are going to uni for studying they don't even want to learn about. It's going to a job that has no relevance.
And how many people I've met and they've gone like, "What'd you do a degree in?" And I say something like history or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, geography, whatever the case may be." Something like, "I chose the easiest topic I could," and I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Just because I wanted a degree." And I was like, "Do you like you're going to go and get a job in that?" And they're like, "No, I just wanted a degree under my belt." I'm like,
I suppose it's better than doing like,
life.
if you've got no aspirations, it's better than doing nothing. But
go work.
Also true. No, also true. Like, if some, it depends. You know, everyone's like learning abilities are different. Some people are good like to sit in front of like books and do all of that. Some people aren't. I'm the type of person that I learn something by doing it.
so do
throw
I,
me in
yeah.
the deep end. Even if I don't know it, I will learn something.
I think
from
that's
it.
all of us though. That's why
that's
why this pod works.
But then some people are good at actually listening, like one-on-one and like reading. I can't do that. I couldn't do that.
I struggle to read a book.
The same here. I can't read a book.
I can't. I've got too much else going on here. Like I just.
Drifts off every second. Like drifts off. You think about something else.
Do you know what I notice? I read a book, I'll read a page, and I'm subconsciously
gotta
thinking
read it
about other
again.
stuff, and I go, I didn't take a single
Yeah.
thing of what I just read.
have to read it
Like,
twice.
I've got to
Yeah.
read it again,
I like
and
audible.
I purposely have to slow it down, so I'm actually taking in what it's saying. I'm like, this is just getting me nowhere.
waste of time, mate.
Yeah,
Do you know what's the crazy thing as well? Like, I actually do believe, like, because of some of the pressure that some cultures and people and parents give to their kids, a lot of kids go to university because of that reason. It's to get away from
Definitely.
it. It's like you can't put someone like, it's like a caged animal, let it free, it's going to go fucking wild, which is why they end up doing crazy behind their parents' backs. Where like, if you can find that balance of, I think personally, which is how I'd want to be with my kids one day if I do have any, is to be able to advise them, but at the same time support them. Because if you constantly tell someone what to do and what not to do, it's like they're just going to go against everything that you're telling them. So these kids that go to universities eventually go there and become animals and become these like whatever they're doing there, they just end up going completely left.
yeah, for real,
I think that could really damage kids
Yeah.
definitely.
and young adults.
I think a lot of kids do it as well. Go to uni because they're too scared to go into the working world as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. So,
Bring it closer.
I'll tell you a story. So, my dad bought the business the same year that I was going to university, but he never once said, come and work for me. And obviously at the time, I didn't really clock this. And I just went to university, did like 2-3 years. And I lived in London for a year. And I remember belling him up one day. And I was at the gym in like Hounslow, and there was like some nice motors. And I was like, Dad, this life ain't going to buy me these motors. And he was like, what do you want to do about it? And I was like, I don't know. And eventually ended up going back. And then I was just at home, no job, didn't really know what to do. So I was like, okay, I'll just go work with him. And I was at work working with him, and I was just seeing how it all run. And I was like, why do you never ask me to come to work, like for you at the same time? instead of going to uni. He was like, well, you was leaning towards uni, and like if you'd maybe come to work for me if I'd asked you to, you might not have enjoyed it. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, I've naturally ended up here. And then from then onwards, them 3 years were probably the most profitable years that we ever done. But I don't think that would have ever happened if he'd said, come work for me. So he was like, I knew he was eventually going to come back because he was going to realize how hard it is to make dough. And then he was like, I just didn't want to pressure you. And now you're here out of your own accord.
That's a good dad.
It's a good dad.
And that was like a mad realization for me at the time because I was like, he's so right. If he had forced me into it, I might have tried to leave.
Resented it.
Yeah.
And resented him
You'd
for
be in
it.
that fucking shop going, fuck this. Like, why didn't I go uni?
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, it'd be the time of your life over there. Da, da, da. He's let you go and let what I said at the beginning of the pod.
Experience it,
Yeah.
and then come back
Make
to
your own
it.
mistakes and go let you have your own realization of, do you know what, this is not what I want, mate. Like, I'd rather go and work with my old man.
You went uni, didn't you?
Yeah, well.
Well, you're still paying off the debt for it,
Yeah,
mate.
fucking hell, yeah. Yeah, did
used
it
to
for
call me
well,
up.
I didn't get any EPs.
mate, I went about 3-4 times. That was it. I was working at the same time.
He used to send me
once.
videos in his lectures of him going like this. He used to send me videos. I've got them. I've still got them.
What did you go to study?
Physical education.
Oh, fair.
Because don't forget, I wanted to go. My lead when I was younger, I wanted to go into the RAF.
Oh, well, I wanted to be a PT.
Yeah, and I did want to be a
when he
PT.
said that for like a couple pods in, he was like, boys, I'm not going to RF.
Yeah, I know.
So what are you doing here then?
don't forget, I didn't know what this was going to turn into.
Yeah,
did I?
true,
Do you know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah, fuck that.
when I was younger, I wanted. No, it's a great life, mate. Trust me. The Air Force is a great life. If anyone's thinking about, if you're thinking about going into the military, like the Air Force is a fantastic life. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it is a really cool life, man. And that was my long-term goal: was go and study, do well at PE at school, which I did. I got an A. Then go.
It was the easiest day ever. I got an A.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. But all right, calm down. Don't piss on my
Nothing
fucking
to
fun,
gloat
no.
about getting an A in PE, bruv.
But then I went and done PT course. Then I wanted to go uni and do physical education. Sports management is what I wanted to study, and then go from there into the RAF and be a PTI, which is a physical training instructor. So, yeah, that was what I led. But yeah, while I was there, I was like, again,
Now look at you.
now look
did
at
you
me
lot wanna
with
be when
three
you were
f***ing degenerates.
But this is, I'll be honest with you, this moment has been engraved into my head ever since. I never forget this. I was working in Tesco part-time as my first job ever. I was 16 and I was going to college at the time and I was studying media studies for first, which I got my diploma in. And we had to go and see a careers advisor, I think it was called. And I'd sit in this room with this woman and she'd go through all the things. Like, I'll never forget this moment, the day of my life, bro. I was like, what the f***? I walked out there, I didn't even know what was going on. She went, so what do you want to do? And I went, I don't know. She goes, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, well, what do you lean towards? She goes, and she lists all these little different job opportunities. Like, no, I can't see myself doing that. And then no, I can't see myself doing that either. She says, well, what do you actually want to do? I went, I don't actually know what I want to do. I had a full direction. Do you know what? I always did want to be in front of the camera.
Really?
I always wanted to be in front of the camera. I never knew how that would look. Didn't know what it was going to be. And then all of a sudden, X on the Beach landed on my lap. I thought, as a 19-year-old, this is it. I'm going to be the next Geordie Shore. I genuinely believed that at 19. I thought, because I'd never watched it.
So you should as well.
Yeah,
at that age.
By the way, when X on the Beach come out,
It was big.
it was
Yeah,
huge.
massive,
yeah, like big.
It was before Love Island.
Yeah.
It was before Love Island. It was in the height of Geordie Shore, Only Way is Essex, all them big shows. It was huge.
It was massive.
And when I got the call up, I was 19 years old and I was still in college. And I was like, oh my God, I'm being asked to go next to the beach. And you know what? It's stupid on my behalf. Never done any research on it. Never watched a single episode before I went on. I never had MTV back then
19,
either.
bro.
Yeah.
Never done no research.
I went on it at 29 and I still went off going, I could have done X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and I don't regret how I performed on it, but I could have done a
But
lot.
don't you walk
Yeah,
away
cool.
from that and go, do you know what? If I ever done reality again, I wouldn't know what to say.
Oh yeah, but I'd never do. I know what you're saying.
I'm saying like
Yeah.
that's what I always said. I walked away from that game, bro. I could have done
X,
said
Y, Z.
this,
I didn't know how
this.
to play the game, mate.
Even though I did.
He was a
I
baby, mate.
Yeah.
I naturally ended up playing it.
19, you're a baby.
That was my first ever in front of the camera experience ever. Like I never knew how
Same.
TV worked. So anyway, when I got that opportunity, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And it obviously, fucking 6 months of fame dwindles out very, very quickly.
Yeah, for real.
And then that was the end of that. and then again, I was back to square one. Don't know what to do. Got with a girl. Oh, bro, looking back, as much as like I learned something from being in that relationship, that was probably the most depressing time of my life. And nothing towards her at all. It's just I was in this bubble where I was with her and I loved her, but I had no direction what I was going to do with my life. And I was like, this is it. It's fucking it. I don't know what's going on. And I was just seeing every year by year and nothing was ever changing. I was going out to the same clubs, doing the same shit, the same girl. And she was talking about settling down. I was like, settling down? I'm 23 and I got no money. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I started YouTube and the rest is history. But the point is, the whole point I'm saying is I never knew what I wanted to do ever. So when you ask me what did I want to grow up and be, I have zero idea what I wanted to do. But I'm now happy where I am. So if anyone's watching this in their younger years, I was in the same position as you all the way up to the age of 24. Had no idea. And I never knew YouTube was going to take off. It was going to be a hobby.
What do you want to do?
Well, to be honest,
Mike.
To be honest, like for me personally, when I left school, I started working my dad's business. He used to manufacture women clothing, and he was successful wholesale, import, export, and he was fucking killing it. I ain't gonna say figures, but I'm talking stupid amount of dough. So my dad always kind of painted a picture to me to go, this is yours one day. So I grew up feeling very entitled. I was like, yeah, this business is mine. This business is mine. Like, this is gonna be mine. I was working there, but I wasn't actually working there because he put me with the sales guy. And I just thought, yeah, I was doing a lot, but I wasn't. 4 years later, he went to me, I'm actually closing wholesale now, you can fuck off. I was like, excuse me. He's like, yeah, go get a job or do something. And then I was like, fuck, okay, I actually have to go work. So for me, it was a complete culture shock because from there, my first ever corporate job was recruitment. I went from that, for no one telling me what to do, how to do it, what you can and can't do, to this is the time you've got to come in, you've got to come before anyone and leave after everyone. You got your KPIs, you got your targets, you got X, Y, bruv. Like, I was like, whoa, what is going on? So from that point onwards, bro, I think I counted and I told you boys how many jobs. Like, I had a lot of sales jobs because I always thought, not that I was maybe too good for it, but I just didn't know if that was the right job. And I thought, I'm young, I could try these things. So I just kept going from one sales job to another, to another, to another, until I went into property. And that's when I was like, I quite actually enjoy this now. So I'd done like a couple of estate agency jobs, and then from there went into property, and then from there opened a restaurant. But I never when I was younger, I was like, I want to be an actor. That's what I always wanted to do. I loved acting. I would put on shows to my family, bro. Same. Like me and my cousins, bro. I would honestly put on shows. I loved it. Yeah. But my dad said to me, no, you're not doing that. And I remember saying to him once, I was like, Dad, I remember once going to him, and I think I was about 25, 26. I was like, I want to go work in the gym. I want to be, I want to be a PT. There's no money in that. But then if I had done that, you never know. Like, I could have gone into online. So that's the point. I think I just started to understand, to kind of make my own decisions, because I was like, from 20 to about 25, 26, I listened to you, and I'm not blaming him, by the way. But I'm just saying, I'm holding him accountable, going, he told me not to do this. I could have done something. Who knows? I could have been even worse off maybe, but you never ever know until you do it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very important as a youngster, and for you youngsters to know that, do you know what, even up to, you know what, any age, man, just try stuff. Like, just try stuff that you enjoy. And if you don't like it, move on. People are so hell-bent on staying somewhere for X amount of years just because it's like, looks good on a CV or whatever. Who gives a fuck? Like, people aren't that bothered. Like, they're really not that bothered. If you have a genuine reason as to why you've left the business, and like your reasons for moving on are sound, and you haven't burnt your bridge with that company, and they'll still give you a good reference, you've got nothing to lose. You'd be like, look, I tried it. I went on a whim. It didn't work out. Hence, I want to move on. Like, what employers don't tell you is that actually shows initiative. Like, that shows that you're not willing to just sit around and do something that you don't enjoy. Like, it shows that you actually want more. It shows that you actually like go after what you want and are willing to put yourself out there and take a risk because of what that potentially might look like of moving too quickly. So don't always look at it from the side of, like, you're moving job again. You're like, yeah, I'm moving job again because I don't enjoy what I do. So I want to go and work for a company and do a job that I actually enjoy.
I do get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
I completely agree, but I do think you need to find a balance of that. And I'm talking from personal experience.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm not talking jump job every 6 months.
I done it where it was like a year, 6 months, 8 months, it was, and left like that. And I think at the same time, and with the same breath of what you're saying, I agree. But if you don't truly kind of
you have got to stick
on
at something
and like actually put everything into it, you don't know what your capabilities are.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not saying don't move. If you're unhappy, do it. But make sure your reason of why you're moving isn't like a stupid reason. Like, I done recruitment, and some of the reasons people were leaving, I'm like, that's like some stupid excuse. Like, you'd leave for anything. You would leave for
a bit of pressure in it.
Yeah.
Bit of pressure in the
You're a quitter.
Some things are better than just money. Like, it's like the convenience to how far it is away from your home. Like maybe I know it sounds
the commute,
like
anything.
The commute, the holidays, like whatever it may. The culture. That's one of the most important things working in a corporate.
That's what kept me in my job for 5 years, mate.
That is one of the most important things working for a company It's how you feel within the people that you work with. Like, you're there more than you're with your family.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Like,
Even if you work hybrid these days, like you still have to converse with those people all the time. You have to go to work events and talking in that life. Like you've still got to go in 2-3 days a week and sit next to Janice and
Janice.
Do you know what I mean? And whatever else. So like the people you work with is very, 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 very important. Like unless you're one of these people that say, oh, it doesn't bother me, I can switch off. Like eventually it's going to get you, man. Eventually it's going to get you. You stayed there 5 years. I stayed at my last firm for 6 years. Like
I do feel like
and
you're
I had
just
a
a bit
great
of a
time.
number in corporate though, bro.
No, you are a number.
Like-
Yeah.
Of course you're a number.
They replace you like this.
Oh, yeah, of
sales,
course.
they say-
Sales.
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
In
sales.
sales, they say you are only as good as your last deal.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. And even at that, even if you have another job that isn't directly sales, like what I worked in and things like this, you might be valuable to the business in terms of an asset, in terms of like what money you might look after or how much revenue you bring into the business because you're a good earner. Like if you one day, they'll replace you the next week.
Oh, yeah,
mate.
1,000,000%.
Like that, mate.
Do not think you're special because you're not.
Yeah, don't ever think that. You go, oh no, I'm in with a big dog. And so, yeah, okay, you might be safe for a period of time. Like you might be the last person they give the boot. Yeah, because they know you're a safe bet, or you might get a little bit of special privilege with your holiday and stuff like that. Like I've seen it. But trust me, you are replaceable within a week. They'll have someone in more hungry.
My best friend's missus, she worked for a firm like doing, is it concierge or like when you're like working with footballers and like helping them?
Kind of
What's that called?
Concierge, I know what you mean.
PA, not
chaperone.
Like a bit of a PA or a chaperone, is it? You know when you
Chaperone.
Assistant.
Yeah,
a personal
like,
assistant.
Yeah, like
almost.
sorting that
PA,
out for
mate.
like very high-end individuals. Yeah.
That's what that means. Ah, thought it was Pi Gatherer's theorem.
Anyway, that's what she was doing, working with high-end individuals, and she obviously got pregnant. She left, came back from maternity, and they were making her work with someone else that was there for the part-time period she was away.
Yeah.
And then they just replaced her. They just got rid of her like that.
Yeah.
And she was like this with the director, like this. I'm talking family levels, like. And in the end, because they got rid of her so like
Abruptly.
she basically ended up like taking them to court
tribunal
and to get paid out because like they just literally treated her like a piece of shit.
Fucking shit, you fat piece.
Yeah, I was on the phone to him today.
Goes to show, innit?
Yeah, for real.
I agree.
You know what?
Yeah, for real.
I just want to say as well, like with parents, like when they're advising you, when they're telling you what to do and stuff, like a lot of people what they need to understand, is because they're from a complete different era. Don't forget, when someone gives you advice, they're giving it from their perspective to how they would deal with it in that situation. They've not grown up or like seen the things or been in environments and been around the people that you have. So who you take advice of is so important. And that's why having mentors, that's why having older brothers are very important. And I've said this to you boys. I didn't have an older brother growing up. I grew up around 7 women. So I grew up a little bit feminine. I grew up a bit emotional. Like I understand women very well, but I don't feel like I had that male figure around me to be able to kind of say, this is this and that's that.
Yeah.
Apart from my dad talking about business, but he can only teach me what he knows. I can't blame him for that. He only knows it from his own era. He can only teach me to us. I used to think my dad had all the answers in the world. You know that?
Of course.
You do when you're a kid.
Bro, I used to think like there's nothing he doesn't know. Up until I hit a point, I was like, bro, you actually don't. When it comes to like what we do now, when it comes to content, when it comes to the things we're doing, he ain't got a Scooby what we're doing. Oh yeah, your podcast is making money now? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how much? I'm like, but like, you need to understand it. But like, he just wants to see the results. He doesn't understand the growth behind it. Where his business was buy, sell.
Yeah,
there's your profit.
Buy something for £1, sell it for £2.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like service-based or like supply and demand. That's what he knows.
But like you said, you can't blame him.
Can't blame him.
No,
And
don't blame him.
They don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, when they're giving you this advice, it does come from a good place.
Oh, 100.
No, not always.
Well,
With
yeah,
us, maybe.
not
Our
always,
families,
yeah.
maybe. There is families out there. It doesn't come from a good place, mate.
Yeah, I
Like,
suppose
they
they project their failures onto their kids.
Yeah, and also they want to, like Ozzy said, as a status, oh, my child goes here. They don't give a actually the child. They just want to
studying. Yeah,
Yeah, they just want to make. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's very true.
But we're quite privileged to have obviously families that will obviously have advised us, which comes from a good place.
I used to see that a lot in the performing arts world. There's so much pressure on the kids from parents to say like, no, you are studying here, you're training here, you're going to that
got a
college,
choice.
you are getting into Erdang, you're getting into Bird, you're getting into Sylvia Young, like, and it was again within the performing arts world, it was like if you didn't get to like Bird, Erdang, Sylvia Young, Italia Conte, like you were almost like you were the runt of the litter,
Yeah.
and like the
Failure.
Yeah, you were a failure. Yeah, like it was unbelievable the pressure that I saw on these girls and stuff from from their parents and that. And I was like,
That's what I'm saying.
crazy. Don't get me wrong. Like some of these kids then went on to be really successful, like the West
At
End
what
shows
cost?
and whatnot.
Unhappy inside, isn't it?
Well, so I don't know. Some of them understood. Some of them like I know they want me to do well. I know like.
Yeah, but I don't mean what
what-
costs in real time. I mean in the future, at what cost? I bet most of the people in the porn arts world are they are, bro.
Well,
Bro, they are. Well, I'm not going to go into a conversation, but look what happened recently. Like, a lot of them have demons, man.
oh, well, that's different though.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's pop star fame though. That's next level.
Well, it's performing arts.
No, I'm talking like things like West End and
I don't know.
things
I
like
can't
that.
comment
But
on
yeah,
When you
Just
say
saying.
pressure though, sometimes it's not even just from a work end. It's like from like marriage end as well. My dad was on my case to get married for a long time. Now he doesn't.
Oh, yeah. For real,
Now it's
yeah.
like but for a long time he was like, it's time. Like, no, I found you some good girls from Turkey. Like,
Really?
Yeah, bro. It's like Tinder, but on his phone. They would just like go, show me screenshots of birds and go like, here's one, here's this, here's that. But one time, yeah, he showed me a picture of this bird and bro, she was clapped. I was like, Dad, are you taking the piss? Like, I'm sorry, but she's there. He was like, but they got land because we can build on there.
Yeah, but they got land.
He's like, they got land because you got halves, because we got halves, we can build a house at the back, make money off. I'm like, Dad, like, what about the kids that are going to be clapped? He's like, don't worry about it. I was like, I need to get funny. But seriously, he like can go to Turkey and go, I've got a son, he's this age, what do you think? And he actually chirps his birds for me, bro. He done it the other day, he called me and he's like, I found you another girl. This one, you know, she's been to university, speaks 3 languages, she's blondings, she's this, she's that. And he would literally picture her to me.
That's
Pitch them to
crazy.
him. He loves it.
I love the culture though.
I love the culture.
He
I
doesn't
like
do
the.
it
I
in
like.
like a thing.
not
yeah.
malice,
it's
right?
with
Yeah,
intent.
yeah,
Of course, it's
Not
good
anymore.
intent. Yeah.
Before
All right.
he used to come at me like it's time, but now I think he knows like
He understands
He
now.
can't tell me what to do. Like I'm just gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
He accepts it, but he still
Again, that
in.
comes from a good place.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
necessarily right, but it comes from a good place. You're not doing it at any negative.
No, he's so funny.
Do you think
bro.
you could be with a Turkish girl? Because my dad's like, I've given up with you. He was like, I can't see you being with a Turkish girl anymore.
I can see myself with a Turkish girl, but I'm open to other cultures because. But my dad really wants me to get with a
I
Turkish.
can see myself being with a Turkish girl.
I do get
if
what
it's
he
his cousin.
means. She is a weapon.
Your cousin's a weaponini, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play.
Do you want us to be your cousin and all that?
Yeah, well,
Part of the family now. isn't it?
Have a room with a robot, all right, boy.
might as well one of you, like, innit, rather than some random.
Together.
First time. What did you want to grow up and be? Footballer.
Bruv, yeah, you know what? Like, I've played football my whole life properly from 16 to like 18. I got asked to play out in Turkey at 17 for Beşiktaş, you know, Beşiktaş.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's bang.
And they were like, we need you to move out. And I was only like 17, bruv. I was like, I can't leave everything at 17.
Really?
And I'd have to live with
Fucking
like
unreal,
uncle,
mate.
bruv. Like, and I look back at it and I'm like, probably should have done it, but I didn't. And then anyway, it didn't really work out. Then I remember like, when I was growing up, I didn't realise we was poor, but now I look back at it, I was like, we was pretty fucking poor. So in my head, I was like, as I was getting a bit older, I was like, right, I'll make it pro and I'll like save the fucking family. And I was like 19 and my dad had bought the business by then and I got released from Palace and I was like, yeah, I fucked it. So in my head, I was just like, I remember I didn't speak the whole car journey home and I was like, fuck, I'm going to be poor my whole life. And then I kind of just started doing bare random shit, went to uni, came out, my first job was in a contact lens factory, bruv, and I was getting this bus, yeah, in Hounslow. Mate, I was getting this bus at Hounslow at 5 a.m, get this contact like lens factory just full of Polish people. I remember getting there, looking at it, and I was like, how the f have I f***ed this so badly? I worked like 2 days, bruv, and I was just like, I walked out, didn't even tell him and left, and then that's when I bailed my dad up. I was like, bruv, I'm f***ed. Like, this ain't gonna work. But yeah, that was pretty much my
That's
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, it was fun.
Me and Yo went for a factory job. Bro.
Oh, shut
Bruv, they are the worst jobs in the world,
That's
bruv.
making me think.
Give you a sheet and they're like, right, pick this, and
We
I'm
didn't turn up.
like,
Did we
this
turn up?
shit.
I went and I called you. So you went, I'm
You went
I got there about an hour. I drove there. You went, I'm not coming, bro.
Tunbridge Wells, weren't it?
Yeah, I drove there. Turned up on site. I turned up to this factory and stuff. There's all these people there, middle of the night. They give me like fucking high vis and shit. And I'm looking around thinking, fuck this, bruv.
I don't know how they do it.
And I left after about an hour.
No, you did the shift.
About
You
an
did it. No,
hour.
you did it. And I called you. I went, what was it like? You went, yeah, it's all right. I went, do you want to come for your... Oh, I had to go for a survey, didn't I, with you?
yeah.
You wanted to come do the registration. I was like, yeah, what's it like, though? You went, it was a bit back-wrenching, but it's all right. It's all right. We done the registration. We went to yours. We had to go at 6 a.m. in the morning, Tunbridge Wells. And we both looked at each other like, I ain't going to job in the morning. We never went. You did one shift. I remember it. I never went.
That's so funny.
You know,
Had all of that, bro. I've done before.
we were
Just
working
leave.
out what we're doing.
Yeah,
shit
and
for
we
the-
said, we can make money this
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
She went, no, you can't. We was going, we can make loads of money off the fuel.
To be honest, the allowance per pence per mile, wasn't it?
Kill 55 pence per month.
We're laughing.
She went, no, you don't.
That's why we said we'll drive together to make more money.
Make more money.
That's so funny.
Oh, mate, I remember that.
Cool, I've done it all, man. Done it
Yeah.
all. Done it all. And that's what young boys and girls. That's what you've got to know as well. Like
We've all come from.
Yeah.
I've not come from money. None of us come from money.
none of us, man. Like and we've all done shit jobs.
Oh yeah.
Like, the problem is, you youngsters today are very entitled. You feel like you should be 20, 21 years old walking into a 50, 60 grand job. Like it just doesn't happen. Don't get me wrong. You can make that money online. Yes, we know a lot of boys that are a lot younger than us making a hell of a lot of money online. Yes, you can do it. And if you go into that field, I wish you every best of luck. However, don't feel as though you're owed that money by anybody. Like these boys that we know on TikTok, on Instagram and all that sort of stuff. No matter who they are and what they're doing, they are working their ass off every single day on social media. Like, people don't realise what goes into social media until you start doing social media. Like, it's unbelievably hard work and you have to be on it 24/7.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you're owed stuff. Like, if you want to go into social media, do it, because there's a lot of money involved in it. If you want to go into another career, you have to be prepared to start at the very bottom and work your way up. It is as simple as that. You don't go from there to there overnight. You're going to be the lowest one on the floor. You're going to be one of the lowest paid. You ain't going to know the ins and outs. You're going to feel like a bit of a dickhead because you don't know stuff. Be a fucking sponge. Learn as much as you can and work your arse off. And that is the only way you're going to do well in life. No matter what you do, work your arse off.
What's the worst job you ever had?
Pulling cable
I was actually
at
thinking
night when I worked for Chelsea Ozzie's dad.
Oh, okay. Well, outdoors or indoors?
Outdoors. What Ryan did, but except I was 19 years old.
I was a labourer for 6 months.
Dude, that's graft, bro. Like, you either cut through it or you went.
Oh, bro,
I don't want to
horrible.
say worst job I've ever had, but the hardest one was with working with Mitch, bruv.
Mitch Palmer.
Yeah, mate.
I enjoy
That's-
that stuff,
That's
bro.
hard graft,
Yeah,
bruv.
that is
Like,
graft.
I thought there's like I've done labour work before, but Jesus Christ, mate, doing that fucking difficult.
Did you not enjoy it though?
Yeah, like it was cool, bro. Like going there in the morning. I had a fucking
I'm
night.
talking about like a shit job.
I'm talking physical graft. Like it's tough.
Yeah, my labour
I don't
job's
mind doing it with Ryan now when I work with the boys putting cable, and it's fun because I'm working with one of my best pals. But when I was 18, 19, doing night, and I was working nights, and I was in the fucking trenches in London pulling cable, mate, with the Cobra, and that, I was just like, this is back-breaking work, mate. Like, back-breaking work. And it was just, yeah.
I went and lived down in Devon for 4 months, putting up flood barriers. Do you remember that? Yeah. Do you remember that? With Ellis. I've had some questionable jobs, boys, I tell you.
You thought you don't even know these jobs exist.
I know. If you put up 4 hours in the van all the way down to Devon, stayed up in a hotel with no signal on my phone, brother. And me and Ellis were putting up flood barriers for 4 months, brother. I'm not joking, brother. Like, people think like, oh, you boys, brother. I worked some jobs you've ever heard of in your life.
Isn't it? Proper.
Pulling cables.
Done retail. I've worked retail. I used to work in Reese, remember?
That's
Yeah.
horrendous. That's horrendous.
I used to work in
and all.
Reese.
I worked in New Look and they hated me, bro.
My hat's off to anyone that works retail, man, because that
is
is
it?
hard work, mate.
I just left it.
But I tell you what, I actually enjoyed working in Reese though. Like,
Yeah, 'cause you used to chore everything.
Still does.
He doesn't work there anymore. He still chores stuff from there.
He's using the discount code.
Yeah, 5-finger discount. Hell.
that was quite enjoyable though, but the hours are just long, man. You got good customers, there's good clothes, but yeah, it's hard work.
Can't think of a like shittest job I've ever had. I've done a lot of jobs, Brev.
I've done a lot of jobs, yeah.
Yeah, I've
It was my first,
enjoyed most
my,
places I've
do you know my
worked.
first ever paid job was like on the books, was at DFS.
I remember that.
Fucking
Yeah, and I
hell.
used to work up in Orpington at the DFS store because my uncle was the area manager for the South East, and he got me a job in there, and I was on the books, and I was 15 years old, mate, and I used to get paid £85 a day. Back then, I've still got the paychecks and stuff somewhere.
Mine was Tesco.
What's worst job?
No, my first
16.
job.
Oh, first
I
job.
enjoyed Tesco. I actually enjoyed it. It's next to my house, bruv. Used to walk to work, 4-minute walk.
Why not, bruv?
And it's paying well. Back then it was £6.75 an hour, and that was good then. It was like really good. I was like gloating to people I was earning £6.75. But I'm earning £6.75. My hours are the best hours ever, bruv. I used to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I used to start at 2 and finish at 7. So I could always go out and get on it during the week with the boys, have a lay-in and still go to my shift never hungover. It was the best fucking shift ever. Once, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was you. There was a party going on at Jake Stanford. I think you watched the pod, Jake Stanford. and he had a fucking fat mansion. His dad owns a fat mansion up in Waterbury, where you come through to come here. And I was stacking milk in the shelf. This is so bad, bro. I'm sorry about what I'm about to say. And it was late at night, and I was stacking milk, and I was getting FaceTime with the boys, and I was at this pool party, local in the summer.
I was away on work.
And I was like, why do they keep calling me on my phone? You're not allowed to phone on the shop floor. I answer, I'm stacking milk. I'm like, what's up? And it's like, and there's all these girls, bruv, and they're all jumping in the pool and out. I'm like, where are you? He was like, we're at Jake's Hammond's party, bruv. You've got to come. I was like, bruv, I'm at work. I've got to lock up. He went, bruv, you can't miss this. There's this lady called Julie on the shift. I went, Julie, I've got to go. She went, you can't go. She goes, I went, I've got her. My mum's falling down the stairs. And she went, what? I was like, yeah, no one. And she went, no one else is home. And she went, all right, okay, no worries. Yes, touch wood. Sorry, I shouldn't really lie about shit like that, but I was young. I was like 18. And I was like, she was like, okay, go. And I'm driving back to my house. Like, I'm going to. I'm driving all the way to Waterbury. I'm buzzing. I called up all the boys. Like, we got a pool party, mate. That was one of the best pool parties I've ever been to in my life as well, and it was in England. I'm so glad I finished that meal.
My mum's falling down the stairs.
My mum has fallen down the stairs a few times, so like...
Yeah, because of you.
Sorry, guys.
I only ever said something like that to get out of an interview.
Have you?
Yeah, it was like a group
man.
15-man interview, and then I just sat there, and everyone's doing this in practical exam, and I was looking at his paper going, I don't know what's going on in this paper. I've done no revision at all. Everyone's going away. I just pretended that my mum's calling. I was like, oh, I've got to take this. My mum's calling. I was like, I've got to go. I think something's up, and I just walked out. I didn't say she fell down anywhere.
Done that to a few people.
But I just walked out of the interview. I was
your
like,
mum?
fuck this.
No.
You called me up.
Yeah, what's that, mum? Yo, was like, what are you fucking going on about, bro? Oh, mum, really? I got to go right now.
Oh. Yeah, I regret making that joke, but I don't regret going to the party, so it was good. It was good.
It's done now.
God.
Yeah.
Balance on it.
But anyway, yeah. So, are your parents holding you back? I know we spiraled a bit, as we always do, but there was a lot.
I think that was very relevant.
Yeah, it was very relevant. Everything was quite relevant. Yeah, 100%.
Are we out of time, or should we round it off with a question?
Yeah, round it off with a bit of advice to everyone. Like, what would be your one piece of advice?
Do the advice on, if you want, on like someone that is listening to this that maybe does have a lot of pressure from their parents, and they don't know how to kind of go about in respect of making their own decision or kind of pulling away from that.
Okay,
Because there's going to be someone out there that's listening to this that wants to know, how do I actually go about it?
Okay.
Because my parents are holding me back.
As much as your parents are holding you back, and the intent behind most of their decisions and their advice comes from a good place, I honestly think you should whatever they say and go and do whatever you want to go do, because you will always hold yourself accountable for any decisions you make. And if you take their advice and it doesn't work out, you'll always resent them and blame them for where you end up in life. So always do what you want to do and your parents advise you. That's my advice.
All I could say on top of that is, one day, if everything happens the way we expect it to when you look at society and life, our parents grow before us. You live in a way to try to please them, and I get that. We all want to make our parents proud. There's nothing better than your mum or your dad, your loved ones saying that they are proud of you. However, you cannot live your life depending on other people's goals and feelings. One day your parents are not going to be here, and you are going to be by yourself, and you're going to be in this world to turn around and say, well, did I actually live my life the way I wanted to? And you don't want to say, no, I haven't, when those curtains closes. So although you love your parents and you respect them, I'm not saying do it in a horrible way, but you need to be able to make your own decisions, because end of the day, it's your happiness that counts.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice. I'd have to agree with all of that, but you know what? Mine would be a little bit different. I just wouldn't deep anything. Like, hear me out. So whenever like I was advised to do something, didn't work out, played football, didn't work out, left uni, didn't get a job, didn't work out, I always kind of had in my mind that I was going to end up doing something that I wanted to do. And I feel like that just comes from maybe a little place of not deep in anything. Maybe being delusional, but I always thought I was just going to end up where I was going to end up. And I think that's kind of what led me here. Like, people would probably advise me to do certain things, to do certain jobs. And in my mind, I was just like, I just don't care. And that probably led me here, I think. I think if I started caring what people actually thought and started caring what people actually wanted me to do, I probably wouldn't have ended up here. I would have done like a normal job. But in my head, I was just like, don't know, bruv. I just never thought like I was going to end up doing a normal job.
The same. I agree.
I always thought something like this was going to happen. Like, I just thought I was just going to do more, and it just did happen.
It's crazy. And I'll let you finish as well, but I just wanted to say on top of that, I remember the times that I was trying different things and it wasn't working out. I had some like dark moments in my brain, bruv, like sitting on the edge of my bed doing. But do you know what? The one thing
I still do.
Bro,
I was being in the shower the other night.
but like, I never ever, regardless of how I felt, I always said to myself, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
same.
I always pulled myself out of it as much as I fell into that deep hole.
Yeah,
Bro, I
same.
had some sleepless nights. I've had some horrible days going, what the f- have I achieved in my life? I ain't got a pot to piss in, is what I've said to myself. But I said to myself, it's going to be okay in the end.
You always got to remain positive.
Don't
Always
worry.
positive.
You
In
don't.
the
Always positive.
What other choice do you have?
You don't have any other choice.
What other choice do you
No
have?
one's coming to save you.
Yeah, no one.
Like, what other choice do you have apart from take yourself out of that rut?
My advice to Ozzy's question is, do you know what? For the most part, figure out what it is you actually enjoy and what you actually want to do in life, and actually try to explain to your parents what you want to do and why you want to do it. Try and make them understand, because like the boys have all said, excuse me, they do come from a very different generation.
Educate
them. Exactly that. You need to educate them now. Like, my old man's old school. Like, he's pretty savvy. But I had a massive chat with him the other day when I see him. He's like, right, mate, like, he always wants to know I've got enough money coming in to sustain my lifestyle and da-da-da-da. And he's like, I had to sit and explain to him. My grandmother said, explain to him, like, what it is you do and how you earn your money. It took me about 40 minutes to, like, sit there and talk through everything with him. And in the end, he just shut up and listened. And he went, sweet, now I ain't got to worry. So the only reason they're doing these things is because they worry, because they want you to do well, they want you to succeed, they want you to make sure you've got enough money and to sustain and look after your lifestyle and get you through life after they are long gone, after Ozzy said. So they are only doing that because of that. So my advice to you would be figure out what it is you want to do in life and educate your parents on your decision and why you're doing it. And then maybe they'll understand, and then hopefully they'll support you in whatever it is you want to do.
Amen.
Yeah. So I'm just taking it all in. When I hear some people's stories now, it just makes me realise how blessed I am to have good parents.
For real.
That's another thing. Everyone should count their fucking blessings.
Yeah, of
The
course.
fact that you've actually got
your parents.
telling you, like, see that as like a positive rather than a negative. The fact that you've actually got your parents telling, like, sitting there and actually trying to help and advise you. Some people don't have that.
Oh,
man.
I know people, bro.
Some people do not have that. And God forbid, like, when you lose your parents one day, you're gonna go, I wish you would moan at me one more time. I wish you would moan at me one more time.
I know people that parents don't give a...
I spoke to my mum this morning about her losing her dad, and she was crying in my arms this morning, bruv. This morning. And I had to sit there and go, like, this is why I want you to, like, be happy and live your life from the rest of the time onwards, because I don't ever want to be like sit and like cry and be like, oh, well, she suffered or she didn't do X, Y, Z in the past, for the last 10 years, 15 years of your life. This is why I really want you to lose your weight and be happy and do X, Y, Z. I was like, it's crazy. Some people won't get to experience that ever again, bro.
It's crazy.
When you deep it. I always say, bro, like, you're often so busy growing up that you forget your parents getting old.
Oh, I don't.
Horrible thought.
Let's not get into that on this pod.
Yeah.
I get you. But guys, like the boys have said, count your blessings, educate your parents, figure out what it is you want to enjoy, and ultimately do whatever it is you want to do. But make sure it really is for the best interest of yourself.
And join the right side.
Yeah. And
We'll
help you.
subscribe.
Leave a comment in the comment section.
See you next time, people.
Peace.